I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make it every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Marc and Mo Show. My name is Marc, and to my left this time is my co-host
Mo from OTB Clubhouse.
How you doing, Mo? How's everything?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Dude, I pulled my back. It's in pain. I hate it. It sucks because so if you guys are unaware, this is a pre-recorded show because I'm supposed to have an event today. I'm supposed to go meet RFK Jr. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it because I pulled my back earlier today. I was sick yesterday, sneezed and coughed and pulled my back. So I'm in pain. Here we are doing this now. So, but how's your trading been?
It's good, man. And I say this every single week for the last 4 weeks, so people are probably tired of hearing this. Trading is out of fashion for now. Like people that are swing trading, they are in deep trouble. Bag holding, upside, downside, doesn't matter. Unless they caught the top and they got a good chunk, it's hard. Day trading with if-then scenario is how you're going to make money in this market. A lot of new folks that I work with, they maybe take 1 to 2 trades a week versus taking 4 to 5 trades, sometimes not even taking any trades a week. And then I have scalpers. They're making very good money. Like there's people that I know that are making 6 figures in the last 2 months. They've made 6 figures in the last 2 months because they shine in this environment. It depends on what kind of trader you are, and just knowing that is important. I think we're finally talking about deeper issues in trading. Like all the hype from 2020 is gone. We talked about it. People that were in the Discord business or when the trading as a business, not as a hobby, are wiped out. The ones that are good, they're actually talking about meaningful trading now rather than just percentage trading where it's like, I made this much, how much did you make? Now we're talking about process over performance. I love this book, and I'll just throw it out there. It's called How to Think Like Champions, and it talks about how champions worry about the process over how they perform, because if they focus on process, the performance will outshine. And trading is the same thing. We talk about it. Like if you don't focus on the process and just the performance, which is profits, you don't do well. Sorry for the long-worded answer, but this is what I've been thinking for the last 1 month on why people lose and consistently lose. And here's the reason why.
Yeah, I'm still been sticking with the vertical spreads and wheel strategy. So far, I've been kind of staggering my positions. I started a new account with $3,000 is when I started. So I took profit and all the other ones. Remember, I was taking profit. I was finally buying myself stuff. So I really appreciate it. So I was like, let me go over to Thinkorswim again, which, by the way, has got bought out by Schwab, right? Is it Schwab? Yeah. They're going to be switching over, I think, November 1st. I don't know how that's going to react to the Thinkorswim platform, but I love the Thinkorswim platform. Not so much for verticals, but I want to test it out on Thinkorswim platform to see if it's just as good as the E-Trade platform, where it shows you the probabilities and everything. And it's not as nice. I'm not gonna lie to you. It seems to be a lot more complicated. But today was the first trade I actually got out of with the positions I placed. I had a Boeing trade, which I had a vertical spread on that. I exited today for 28% profit per contract, which was good. I was down for the past like 2-3 days or so on it, but the market sold off. So it was one of those plays because, you know, the whole Israeli and Palestine situation kind of had all these oils and these basically, what is it, the military industrial complex stocks run up. So I knew it was going to cool off eventually because some of these things were running up like 4 or 5% a day. And I was like, ooh, this is based off of what? Just the news off of the war that's happening. And Boeing also missed its deliveries with their aircraft. So there was no good news to justify the reason why it was up 4 or 5%. So that's the reason why I ended up getting into that position. Luckily, it worked out for me so far. And the only other position I am in is XOP, which is oil. I got into it before the news. So clearly I'm down on it right now, but I think it's going to cool off here soon. We're going to get into the whole Israeli and Palestine conversation at the end. Mostly me, I'm going to have some conversation about what's happening here, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more before we close the show. But until then, let's get over to you, Mo. CPI.
Okay, so Yeah, let me share something with you guys. Hold on.
Okay, wait, hold on. We got to play your intro. Ready? I honestly forgot that we even had that.
I've been using that for my YouTube, so it's been working fine.
Oh, you have? Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get, I want to just gently cover the situation that happened over the weekend with the war. Everyone on Twitter was posting a black swan event. People were saying market's going to be down 200, 300. We might trigger a stop in the market. And I did my watch list meeting or pre-market meeting on Sunday, and you go watch it. The first thing I said was likely the market runs, because if you go back in history, even like go check the Russia and Ukraine day, we were down 2%, and then that day we closed 2% up. So anytime this happens, people think basically, you know what, more is bad, people will start selling, and usually market counterintuitive, and you often will get a move that is counterintuitive. And so anyone that got in calls on Monday, Tuesday, they made bank. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is you need to think for yourself, and this is critical thinking, which me and Marc talk about. I think since the podcast started, we've talked about critical thinking, which simply means that you need to look at things and think for it yourself and see if it makes sense or not. And this is what you teach a kid too. Like my kid's 5, and this is what he's learning in school. Like, how do you like take information and comprehend it? But a lot of adults aren't comprehending information. They're just copy pasting information that they get out of the social media. Mm-hmm. And more than me, Marc can tell you how biased the information by these media platforms is. And I genuinely feel that after Twitter started doing the paid model for engagement, just for engagement farming, a lot of people are posting stuff that's creating panic and fear, because this is psychology, simple, one-on-one. Mm-hmm. It's easier to get more attention when you create panic or an image of panic than of something else. People generally, like if you post something simple, post a video of someone fighting, do you see how many views that gets? Is because
it gets a lot,
right?
It gets a lot.
So a lot of people will naturally start focusing on stuff that's going to engage audience, and that's what's happening, and most people don't understand. With that, we had horrible PPI numbers. Let me show you. So Forex Factory, probably the best website if you like to know what data numbers are coming out. I use this every week, so bookmark if you want to. So let me show you yesterday's PPI number, and you tell me how bad they were. The expectation for PPI was 3%. Actual was 5%. Horrible. What did the market do? The market rallied. At the end, the market was going bonkers. And so intuitively, if the numbers are bad, that means they're going to increase the interest rate even more, which means not good news for people. So people should be selling. So that's what I'm saying. When you get in the market, go if then. If this price breaks, I do this. If this breaks, then I do that. Most people are going, I'm bullish, I'm bearish. I'm looking at this call. Look at both calls and puts. And then, so for today, the numbers weren't that bad. Like we opened, I'd say flat. There was a little bit of a gap, but the expectations was 3.6. We came to 3.7, same as last time. So it wasn't that bad, but I want to express something which might shock people, but it's the most common sense thing. Market is forward looking. This data is backward. It's lag information. They're not saying this is what the CPI is now. This is September CPI. Market isn't going to react on previous stuff. They react on future things. So yes, the initial action is based on funds basically reacting and algos working. But after that's over, then you're like, okay, what's next? A lot of people place their entire bets based on the CPI. So if CPI is higher, why did we move up again today? We got the big dump at the end, but initial was a rally up. So market's in the middle. No news is really moving the market, and trading is harder for people that have a bias and they stick to bias. You have to be very fluid and move from one point to point B. So just be very careful with what the data is. So a lot of people are like, okay, we're at 4380. Now we're going to get to 4400. Guess what? Every time we go to 4385, we dump because it's intuitive. That's how people think. Like I tell people, you can think in round numbers, but when you're picking the option chain, don't do that because that's where market maker makes the most money because we never get there. Example, instead of going for 4,400 calls, go for 4,490, 4,390. Better off paying a little bit more and you'll go in the money because 4,400 will have the highest ON volume, which is what most traders think they should get. That's not how you should react. But I think this data has to be taken like a screenshot of what's happened in the past. And everyone knows market looks forward. It's forward looking. We have tech earnings coming, right? Netflix is down like 100 points right now. So, and I've said that before. We either run up to earnings, on earnings, or after earnings. A lot of people that are coming in late Netflix buying puts, very seldom you'll see a dump during earning, on earning, and after. Netflix doesn't usually fall. Another thing I want to talk about, and this is the easiest 2 hints that I can give you. It's not a hint, it's my edge that I'm giving you. 2 things. That's all you need to know what's going on. Number 1 is if the market is selling off, very controlled, very structured, we always bounce back because they're controlling the narrative. It's gamma, it's flows working. We're always going to snap back. When the market starts panic dropping, where you see red candles without any green, that's when you can see consistency in swing trading. Number 2, if chips are leading, chips, NVIDIA, AMD, be careful shorting the market because they're always leading the market up and always leading the market down. One of the reasons today was scary was the breadth of the market was good. Breadth means different sectors contributing in the growth of the market. Banks are down, small caps are down, airlines are down, hotels are down, restaurants are down. And the only thing powerful is tech. Tech started getting heavy and then tanked. Do you know about the fitness drug out for losing weight?
Ozempic?
Yeah.
Yeah, which, by the ways, I did not know, was it Pepsi owns that, right?
I had no idea. I felt like what I heard was Coke, Pepsi, all the restaurants are going down because a new study came saying that it's helping people not crave for food. So all the restaurant stocks started dropping.
Oh, okay, maybe that's what it was. I swear I saw Pepsi and I saw Ozempic and Pepsi in the article. I didn't get a chance to read it. I meant to save it and then I lost it. So I thought it said like Pepsi has stakes in it or something. I don't know. But yeah, dude, that drug is all the celebrities are using it. Kim Kardashian, all these chicks that were bigger girls all of a sudden lost a lot of weight, but there's a lot of negative stuff coming out about it, how it's actually messing up your intestines and stuff. So it's very dangerous.
Yeah, would you take it?
No, dude.
I don't think you need it, but would you take it if you wanted to lose weight?
No, because first of all, isn't it like a diabetes drug?
It's a diabetes drug. We ran out of it in Vancouver, like I think 4 months ago around summer. We ran out of it and then they banned it or something. And then PFE was coming with its own drug, weight drug loss that would have replaced it. That's why I got in calls in the ticker. But yeah, man, I don't like people are always looking for shortcuts, believe it or not. Of course.
It's easy. Like take a pill, it shuts down your craving, your macros goes down and you automatically lose weight, But no, anytime I see Kim Kardashian doing anything, I recommend everyone stay away from it. You see what happened with the BBLs, the breast implants, the lips, all that stuff. And now they're talking about they regret all the plastic surgery they got in the past. But it's already too late. You started this whole culture where girls are like feeling like they're not perfect enough and start getting all these operations and stuff.
You know what it is? And it's going to make sense in 2 seconds. So what the new culture, and it's been happening, I shouldn't say new, for the last 10 years, people build a brand. Once they build a brand, people have their attention, then they sell things that they have no expertise in. So I've seen a lot of wealthy people give advice on parenting. And a lot of people will buy into that, right? But they have shown no proof that they're a good parent. Just because they have money doesn't make them a good parent. And then I hear people say this, if you do one thing a certain way, that's how you do everything. Not true. Do you know how many wealthy people are unfit?
Oh God, so many.
Right? So it's like all the stuff like that we hear, that these metaphorical stuff that are actually limiting beliefs that we put in our head that stop us from growing. I see that a lot. So I've seen so many people come in. I think Rock and Oprah were on CNN talking about inflation numbers, CPI numbers, and this was
The Rock.
Yeah.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah. So why? Because that's going to grab attention, right? Because he's built a brand, right? Like you have very solid background in intelligence, right? You're very smart with that stuff. But if you have 500 followers and I come in with zero background, but I post like fight videos or something really like make 5,000% every day, or like here's how you can make, people are going to naturally go towards me, even though you're making sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's how we got here and how I think we're not looking good in the future as well, because that's who our idols are now.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Have you seen that movie Idiocracy?
No.
Do me a favor, man. This weekend, if you get a chance, watch it. This is a movie that, do you even know about it?
No.
Okay. So in case no one else knows about it, you guys should watch it. It's this great documentary. It's not actually a documentary. This is a running joke now because this movie was made in 2005, 2006. And the whole purpose of the story is that it was Owen Wilson's brother. I forgot his name. But it's the other Wilson guy. He's in it. And something happens. He's in the military. He ends up getting stuck in this pod and he wakes up in the future like 50, 100 years later or whatever. And the entire country is stupid. Like the world is stupid.
Okay, don't talk more. I'm going to watch the movie now. Don't say anything else.
Okay. You guys got to watch it. Listen, I'm telling you, if you watch it, it was a flop in 2006. It was a flop. And there was a reason for it because I didn't know this. There was a history behind it. They use a lot of brands like Costco's in it, Burger King, like all these major brands are in it because they thought they were making this positive movie. So they're like, yeah, you can use our brand for free promotion. But all it's really doing is making fun of it and how we're becoming more and more of consumers, which eventually will create more idiots. It's pretty crazy. Just watch it because a lot of stuff that's in that movie actually has happened now. Like they were the first ones to do the whole emoji, communicate with emojis. I took my son's phone. That's how he communicates with his friends. Emojis. It's ridiculous. They don't even have conversations. It's emojis. Crocs were the sponsors for the shoes in it. And this is before Crocs is like, before anyone knew what Crocs was. The whole running joke was that people are so stupid they can't tie shoes anymore, so they just get these, comfortable rubber shoes. And Crocs was willing to put their shoes in the movie, and look at what's popular now. Crocs, most comfortable shoes, by the way. Is I have a pair on right now. So, but it's just funny watching that movie. Watch it this weekend.
Mark, forget 20 years. If you were, let's say, in a serious illness where you were gone from 2019 to now, and you just woke up, like 3 years. No one expected for us to be here today, like doing things we're doing, like the stuff, the Russia situation, now the Iran situation. For 2 seconds, let's talk about the market. Do you know that all these attempts to control inflation are getting washed by every single funding attempt they're making outside the US? They're donating money. I don't know if you know that US made a new package for it's Israel, Taiwan, and
Ukraine.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think I heard 200 million, but it's probably going to be more.
It's quite frustrating seeing how much money they're willing to give away to other countries while this the fire that started in Hawaii and destroyed so many different homes. And it doesn't seem to get a lot of attention. Like no one's sitting there like, yo, we need to go down there. We need to save them, give them $250 billion to help restore the land. No. I think the most we saw was The Rock and Oprah again. The Rock and Oprah doing like a little PSA event where they're saying we're going to donate $10 million. Can you guys donate as well? So that was like the only thing I really saw.
But to be honest with you, Rock came on and watched a video. He said it was stupid for a bunch of billionaires to come asking people for money who are already struggling for the money, and the people asking for money have so much money. So that's the last thing you want to see. And he said he learned from his mistake.
Mhm.
I think a lot of times people do stuff and they don't realize, they feel like they're doing something very good, but it's not smart to ask anyone for money in this environment, because I'm clueless to how businesses are surviving now, because like the rent is there, employees are like there, and the business isn't that growing that way. With recession looming, a lot of people are spending less. Do you know this? Disneyland and Disney World are running sales apparently for kids come February. They're doing 50% off for kids, and then 50% on dining for kids, not parents, but to kind of get the business back. But I've never seen that before. And
Yeah,
they're doing it all season.
Yeah, and simultaneously, they just also raised the prices for the annual subscription for people. The locals who do the annual pass, they took it away initially. Now they brought it back, and now they're going to raise the price on the annual passes. But they're trying to get you in by saying, "Hey, well, kids get to only pay 50%." It doesn't matter. They're struggling. Everyone, I think, deep down, everyone's struggling. I think there's a lot of numbers being manipulated with these companies. To be honest,
when I see, and I don't want to get political, people know I'm not political, so I could say this. If you said it, it'd probably come across wrong, because I heard or I saw a tweet by Biden, and he said that billionaires need to pay more tax. And I feel like, I don't know if that's our strategy to help the middle class, because they're the ones suffering the most. But that scares me. Like, just that's where I'm going to stop it. And regardless of what party Biden was from or what country he was the president of, I'm talking about the strategy. I'm not talking about I'm very I look at facts. I don't look at people. That's kind of where I stay away from. That's why, like, on my Twitter, I did not make a statement about the war, because I'm not a war expert. I know nothing about it. And anything I say is an opinion, and it doesn't help anyone. So, and that's why I don't, because I need to research, study, and understand myself, comprehend what's going on. Because if I actually listen to everything that's being posted on the media, I'm going to be misled. Like, there's a video, and you probably know about this. A reporter is running, and apparently there's a missile being launched, and they're saying that was fake. I'll send you the video. I don't know if you've seen it, but that's kind of what I've heard in the past too from other people, that a lot of this happens.
Yeah, no, definitely going to get into that as well here when we get onto that topic specifically.
Okay, let's talk market, and then we're going to pass it on to Mark. Okay, so let me share my...
Yeah. Can I add one thing, though, real quick, when you were talking about how, Biden was talking about how, he wants to tax billionaires and stuff. I did, a little short video when I had my Instagram up where I was talking about that. It's like, everyone hates rich people, but everyone wants to be rich. Always. It's like, I hate rich people, but you want to be rich. And me personally, you're right. I understand. The only reason The Rock apologized is because it backfired on him, right? It was like, the Twitter was like, they were like, oh my God, this rich guy over here, only $10 million. Like, dude, that's a lot of money. In the end of the day, $10 million is a lot of money, but I get the perception where it's like, you got rich people asking other people to donate. I understand. But in the end of the day, these people, regardless of how you want to put it, yes, maybe not every single millionaire and billionaire earned it, but there's a lot of them that worked up to that, right? And who are we to tell what they need to do with their money? I wouldn't. If you were a millionaire, if that same person is like, you millionaires need to go pay more taxes. If you were a millionaire, would you want to pay more taxes? You would try to do the same shit. It's so strange to me that how the millionaires and billionaires are hated, but yet everyone wants to be them. It's strange to me. And yes, look, do I think it's stupid that Elon Musk spent $44 billion on a stupid app, Twitter? Do I think it's stupid? Absolutely. I think he could have used that money. He could have bought, homes for people who are in low income housing. He could have bought that. He could have built a school. He could have helped, in other ways, infrastructure. There's a bunch of different things he could have done with $44 billion, but he chose to buy Twitter to...
I know, but it's his money though. Right?
Correct. That's what I'm saying. It's his money. In the end of the day, it doesn't matter what he did. It's his money. And who are you to tell him what to do with his money? That's my only issue when people are like, you need to tax the shit out of the rich and the rich are evil. And the problem is that a lot of them do control the narrative and a lot of them do stick their nose in government and all this other stuff. And they own a lot of stuff. But in the end of the day, I don't think anyone should tell another person what to do with their money.
Absolutely. I agree.
So yeah, so go ahead, do your thing.
Okay. Do you know why I can't share this? Is it
Here,
like a screen issue? Okay,
there you go.
perfect. Green thing. Okay. So here is something we can talk about. So let me just focus on one stock at a time. So let's go look at the long time frame here. Give me 1 second. So if we look at, good draw here. So if we look at this, this is the bottom where we bounced off our, and this is our third or fourth time, 1, 2, 3, 4 time touching it. We're going over SPX index. We're looking at the daily chart. We're getting pretty close to the 50 moving average, 4409. I think it can happen faster than most people can think. Fridays are squeeze day. We're talking about tomorrow. We can see a potential squeeze. We need some sort of bad news for the market to go down. The market ate up the war news. They ate up the CPI news. They ate up the PPI news. They are buying hand over fist stocks and dark pool, and they're buying calls for Amazon, Meta, basically all the alpha stocks, the leaders. And what you want to look at from this point is steady trends, and which is what I talk about. If you wanted to know what happened with the market with the whole situation with Israel, you could have seen what's happened in the past. Yeah, no two situations are the same, but it would help you not being so one-sided, which is what most people are doing, because you can't mix emotions with the market. I have all the respect with what's happening, and I understand like you shouldn't mix business with emotion. So I say, like, if you don't feel like you're ready to take trades on because of what's happening in the world, don't trade. But if you're looking at the market, put all the emotions aside, because the last thing I want to see is people losing money over this. So yeah, like just make sure you guys' emotional state's ready when you're taking a look at the market. But overall, tomorrow is going to be a key day. For the last, I'd say 8 Fridays, we've been just getting chopped with the exception of last Friday. I think tomorrow is going to be key because we're heading into earnings season. We've got bank earnings tomorrow, and then we've got Netflix next week, and we also have Tesla. So if SPX needs to move, we need the leaders to go. And we need to either fill the gap at 44.10-ish, or we go back down all the way to 44.25. And if that breaks, we know how that goes. 40, not 44, 42.25, 42.15 area. But tomorrow is going to be a key day. Watching which way we break. The other stock that I want to talk about is Netflix. I think I've basically talked about this for the last 2 weeks. I'm not in any position. Here is a 200 moving day on Netflix. It's at 372. Netflix is at 361. If we go check where the next supply is, it's right here. It's right. So just so you guys can see, I don't really want to spend too much time on talking about what's the demand zone, but do you see this red candle here? The base of it all the way to the bottom wick. This is a demand zone. We bounced off last time. That's where we're at. Regardless if you're looking at Netflix lottos or next week, this isn't bad. What I really like, and this is a very aggressive trade, is 100 points out for November. So right now we're sitting at 361, 450 calls for November. So it's about 100 points out, but you're adding an extra month and it covers earning. Should be roughly $300. It's not a bad bet to make here. But again, earnings are lottos, and I don't want to promote gambling. That's what I'm looking for. Other than that, Marc's going to talk about the war, but I want to talk about some war tickers that you can keep an eye on. One is KTOS. I wanted to get this on Monday, but with everything that I was focused on, I couldn't. I'm going to teach you guys something here. Let's look at this. So we're going to go back here. So I'm going to put it right here. Sorry, give me 1 second. So this, we'll just use this. So what you're going to notice is this was a breakout level. We faked out here, and basically we dumped. A lot of times when we break out, a lot of people get in calls, but you should always wait for a retest before you get in. So I'm watching for Kato's call, and my idea is simple. If it doesn't hold this line, I'll be out, but it should retest this and go past that. Could this go here? Absolutely can, but this level is not a bad at taking a shot at it. So the way I trade this is I'm looking at this, as long as this holds this support at the 1641 level. I like 1750 calls for January. I saw big, massive calls come in before the week of the war or before that weekend, and they made about, I think, 200%. So they might be already out, but like I'm looking at this level here. If this level breaks, we get, sorry. 1568, and then if that breaks, 1514. The safest place to take this trade is at 1513, but I don't think this news dies down. I think it's gonna catch more momentum on the weekend, and so I'm looking at calls here. You can also look at something safer like gold. When there's unrest in the market, when there's recession talk, gold usually performs really well. This thing went from 184 all the way to 168 to all the way 174. And this is a cup. And we should see a handle, and from there I would add it. So I'm watching gold as well. I'm looking for some sort of maybe a gap fill right here, but Kato's just lined up for a nice dip buy, in my opinion. That's what I'm watching. So you can look at gold, you can look at uranium, you can look at LMT, but if you are trying to build stocks for future, I would have something to protect yourself, because even when recession comes, these tickers tend to do a lot better. Yeah, and uranium had a multi-month breakup, but that's all I have for stocks. I don't have a play to give you because I'm trading day to day. For me to come and give a trade, I have to be absolutely confident that I have a good idea of where the trend is. I don't know right now, because tomorrow can change the game, because if we don't break out up, then we probably don't break out until after the earnings.
Good stuff, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, y'all. So this is where the stock talk essentially ends. And I'm going to take a few minutes here to talk about the war.
Trigger warning. The following content may contain opinions, thoughts, and subject matter that could be sensitive or triggering for some individuals. Viewer discretion is advised.
All right. You guys got the warning. I think it's very clear, right?
So, Marc, before you start, can you tell us your background, if you're allowed to?
Yes. Some of you know this, some of you don't. I was an intelligence analyst for over 15 years. I have about 17 years still going in the Intel career field. Worked for all of them. We all supported them in one way or another. I worked special ops, doing RPA missions for the majority of my career. But before that, and I was on the ground in Iraq. So from 2007 to 2008, I was out there for 8-9 months, something like that. And this is my field. This is where I thrive in. This is where I know a lot of the information that the average person doesn't know. A lot of stuff that I'm seeing here currently with this war is very surface level. I see a lot of people upset about what's going on. Of course, atrocities were committed. People were killed. Innocent people's lives were taken. Children, women, and innocent men by Hamas. I don't think anyone could deny that this attack was atrocious and inhumane. I think we can all agree, right? I mean, this literally, people were getting killed left and right. The problem that I'm having here is that I made the mistake of going on Twitter. And I made, I think, like 2 posts and I just deleted them shortly after. And me and Mo debated whether or not to have this conversation for days, right? You and I were talking about this, like, should I talk about it, should I not? My plan was not to say anything. So we'll see what happens here. This is not scripted. I am just going to try to be as unbiased as possible because this is where I live in. When you join the military, the first thing they usually do when you go through boot camp, they break you to rebuild you up. That's the whole thing. Break all your characteristics that you have, break all the bad tendencies that you have, and they want to build you up to be a soldier. And then you go to your career field or whatever, and, who are America? America 100%. I am a soldier. America first, America first. When you go into intel, it's a little different. You go through boot camp, same thing. They break you, they build you back up. You're all about America, America, America. Then when you go to an intel career field, it's very different because you have to work in the area of gray, the gray space, good, bad, ugly. That's where you work in. They retrain you, reprogram you to essentially be a free thinker. I do consider myself a free thinker. Your whole job is to poke holes in everything and figure out what's true and what's not true. In the intelligence career field, we get a lot of information that comes in, and our job is to figure out what is facts and what is fiction. Our job is to figure out what the best course of action is when it comes to wars, when it comes to conflicts. I have also learned a lot of the stuff that other countries have used, like propaganda, psychological warfare, all that stuff, which, by the way, we also do. In this country, we also use those same tactics on other countries. You did not see me post anything that says I stand with Israel, because I do not. I do not stand with Israel. I do not stand with Palestine. I stand with all the innocent people and the lives that are going to get taken in this war. I'm trying to understand where the disconnect is with regular people and social media, because what I'm seeing here is a lot of, what's the best way to describe it without insulting people? In America, a lot of people live in a bubble. We are extremely privileged in this country. The poorest of poor is still richer than most people. A lot of people don't understand how wars work. The only reason why I see a lot of people upset right now is because of the babies being beheaded, the Tel Aviv concert being attacked, innocent people being murdered, because now it's finally in your face. You're seeing it on Twitter because Twitter now is like the Wild Wild West. Anybody can post anything. And now if you buy yourself a blue check mark, it for some reason solidifies you as a reputable source, even though technically anybody can do that at this point. So you really don't know where the information is coming from. But the reason why I'm not taking a side is because this war will get ugly. But what you're seeing now is the reality of war. And it's quite frustrating that all of a sudden everyone is so upset. I cannot believe this has happened to the Jews. And I can't believe this is what Hamas is doing. They're attacking people left and right. What do you think war is? What do you think happens? Do you think this is the first time that kids are getting murdered? Do you think this is the first time that women are getting raped and murdered and dragged down the streets as tools to show off that, hey, look what we got here. We destroyed the Jewish people, Jewish monsters. This is the first time you think this has happened? No. This has been an ongoing war for thousands of years, stemming all the way back before 1946. I know a lot of people like to pick up from 1946 to where we are now, but this has been a religious and land war for over thousands of years. We're talking about before the Ottoman Empire. We're talking about before the Brits came in. We're talking about everything. There's so much information, so much history between the Israel and Palestinians. And do I condone what happened? Absolutely not. I do not. I don't. I think it's horrific what happened here, and it should not be tolerated. But how do you think we're going to fix this? More people are going to die. So when you see people saying free Palestine, they're not supporting Hamas. At least most of them shouldn't be supporting Hamas. I think everyone at this point can say that Hamas is a terrorist organization. We've deemed it a terrorist organization for years. Most Western countries deemed Hamas as a terrorist organization. They are filled with Palestinians who are basically stuck in the Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip and the West Bank are two separate locations with two separate Palestinians. The Gaza Strip is essentially a small, dense location that is run by Hamas, which was voted in 2006. They are considered a legitimate government and military at that time. In 2006, again, they were voted in. Their space, I think about 50% of people there are unemployed. A lot of them join Hamas to be martyrs because they will get paid to do so and to support their family. So anytime you see any of the wars and the conflicts, because it's been going back and forth for God knows how long, Israel attacking Palestinians attacking Israelis, it's been a nonstop war. The earliest before this one was 2021. I don't think a lot of people even remember that. What I'm trying to say is that there's two sides of the Palestinians, and it seems like everyone's just grouping them all into one. And I saw the protest that was happening here in New York a couple of days ago. On one side, you had the Jews, the other side, you had the Palestinians, and everyone's talking about, I hope you die, kill the Jews, kill the Palestinians, and back and forth. They're just fighting nonstop. And it's getting ugly because we here in this country do not understand how the culture is over in the Middle East. I didn't understand it until I landed foot in there and I actually had conversations with people in Iraq, because I fought a war over there. And you meet people and you start having conversations with people and you realize that not every single person over there is bad. Not every single person wants to kill Americans. And a lot of times we cause more damage than good over there, which creates more terrorists. It's a vacuum that we continuously creating more and more of these organizations that are trying to destroy us and the Jewish community, because the Jews are in an Arab state. So again, the big takeaway I want to say here is that Hamas belongs in the Gaza Strip, is basically almost like an open prison. They cannot come in and out. I've seen comments where people are like, why won't the civilians just leave? That's not how it works. Secondly, they're like, I think if you look at the statistics, 52% of all Palestinians, or 52%, I think it's 52% of all Palestinians actually support Hamas and what they've done prior to this current attack, but they did support Hamas in a way because they feel like they are being held down by the Jews. Jews feel the other way. If Jews feel they've been attacked for God knows how long. And this is a war over religion and land. This is what this is. This is why I think a lot of Americans don't understand it, because we're so privileged in this country where you can be a Christian, you could be a Muslim, you could be a Jew, you can be a Buddhist, you could be whatever the hell you want to be. You could be a cat, you could be a dog, you could be a boy, you could be a girl. It doesn't matter. Everyone will essentially accept you. You will not get murdered for being you, for the most part. You don't. Over there, it is a constant conflict. Constant. My biggest concern when I first heard this was, how did this even happen? How did Hamas, this militant group, how were they able to penetrate the Iron Dome? The Iron Dome is a system that we've also, by the way, supported. We've been giving Israel close to $3 billion every single year. I'm pretty sure it's been a lot more. But they have surface-to-air missiles that are able to basically stop anything that comes in. It was overwhelmed by numerous attacks from Hamas, missiles being shot in. So the systems got overran, hence the reason why a lot of these missiles hit inside Israel. But not only that, they were able to knock down their high-tech fence and enter into Israel. And my biggest question is, how? How did this happen? We're supposed to be this high-tech, westernized country or state or whatever you want to call it, Israel, in the Middle East that was supposed to be able to protect itself. Also, within Israel, for the past couple of years, their country has also been in a sort of divide like our country has been with Democrats and Republicans. Same thing, constantly arguing. But the Israelis felt they were protected with all the technology and everything that they had with their military, the IDF. They felt they were protected where they're at. And clearly something happened where all this has occurred. According to some leaked information, it said that Egypt apparently did notify Israel that Hamas was planning an attack. And it was revealed today, I think it is the IDF did report that there was an intelligence that was gathered and somehow it was overlooked. They knew that Hamas was going to attack. Nothing was done. It didn't move up the chain for some reason. I think the more investigation needs to happen here. Long story short, what I'm trying to say here is what you're seeing online on Twitter, a lot of the stuff is misinformation, disinformation. And what I mean, I give you an example. I also have two sources, by the way. It took me forever to find two videos that was literally unbiased, that kind of breaks down the history of Hamas, Palestine, and Israel, as well as Breaking Point. Shout out to them. The great news source for the most part, like 90% unbiased. They reported some factual information that they found on Twitter that has been incorrect. Like you were saying earlier, Mo, about how that rocket with the reporter running and the rocket dropping and stuff. This is part of the psychological warfare where misinformation is spread. I saw some celebrities posting pictures of Israeli kids in a cage, like physically, like actually in a cage, like a dog cage. They were captured. Israeli kids were captured by Palestine and held in cages. Kids are crying, everything. Problem is, it wasn't Israeli kids. It was Palestinian kids that the Israelis had captured. So there's a lot of misinformation online. And my point being is that what Hamas did is considered a war crime. Absolutely. The retaliation is going to be bad. When IDF retaliates Israel, because they're already trying to eliminate Hamas, they're going to kill a lot of innocent people, as well as children, women, and innocent men. It's going to happen because that place is extremely dense. When you blow up a building that Hamas is in, because Hamas likes to use schools, hospitals, churches, mosques, all that stuff. They like to use that stuff to try to hide in with civilian people because they're hoping that, they want to attack it because it has civilians in there. No, the IDF will. They will eliminate the building. They will destroy the building. And I think we've seen enough horror on both sides, and it will continue to happen. Now, I understand we have a very huge Jewish presence here in America. Israel is our ally. So I understand that for the most part, everyone's going to align with Israel. No one's saying for you to align with Pakistan. That's not what Palestinians. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is there's a reality, and then there's Twitter and the mainstream media. The reality is that there's going to be a lot of death, a lot of people who are going to die in this situation, because this is a situation that's been going on for hundreds to thousands of years. And it's not as straightforward as you think. Hamas attacked Israel, therefore Israel is going to attack back and get retaliation. But I also understand why so many people are upset. Mo, for example, if something happened, or even me, if someone would kill our kids, you would want to get retaliation, right? You want to retaliate. You want to get revenge. But I can also tell you guys, just from firsthand experience, getting revenge doesn't change anything. It won't fill your soul. It won't make you feel better. It won't make you feel like, at least I got an eye for an eye. No, you still feel empty. Trust me, I know. You still will feel empty, and you still will feel like shit, and it will eat you alive. But I wish more people would just educate themselves and not fall for all the BS that you see in the media, because there's going to be a lot of BS. It's going to be swung on one side and one side only, which will be Israel, because again, they're our allies, they're our friends. We support the Jewish community. The Jewish community has been through a lot of shit throughout the years. Holocaust. I mean, that's the most recent one. And then what just happened. But don't act like this is not what war is. This is the horrors that we live in. But America is just stuck in such a stupid fucking bubble where they think that this isn't the reality of the world. We're whining and bitching so much in this country about everything, but you don't see the outside world. This stuff happens every single day in Africa, in the Middle East, in Asia. People are getting murdered every single time. And when you support a war, what the hell do you think is going to happen? When you say, let's support this war, let's support Ukraine, let's support Israel, let's support Russia, let's support Palestinians, what do you think is going to happen? More children are going to get killed. More women are going to get raped and killed. More innocent men are going to get killed. This is what you guys are preaching for. You are preaching for more murder, more destruction. And what's most frustrating is that half these people who are talking have never set fucking foot in the Middle East or in Africa or anywhere, have never had a gun, never been shot at, never been under any sort of real threat. But yet we're quick to sit here and say, yes, go kill these people. Get your revenge. But revenge will not help. It won't. The two videos that I posted below, one of them will give you, again, the history of Palestine and Israel. It's completely unbiased. This is giving you the history all the way up in 2021. The funny thing is that video was done 4 years ago, but now it's getting a lot of attention because everyone's looking for it. This video was done, 3-4 years ago. It's 2021. That's when it was done. And in the end of that video, the guy even says they're currently in a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel, but it's a ticking time bomb. It's a ticking time bomb. It's always going to be a ticking time bomb. Truce or no truce is going to be a ticking time bomb. But Israel already said they are going to eliminate Hamas. I just want to make that very, very clear. And I wish people would just have some sort of humanity in them when they're on Twitter and arguing with each other on social media and saying death to people. It's sickening, and I don't understand why we're so hungry for war. We support Ukraine. We're spending billions and billions of dollars to support Ukraine fighting against Russia, and that's a whole history on its own. I pretty much stay quiet on that. And now we're going to send billions and billions of dollars to Israel, which we've already sent them billions and billions of dollars. Like, they have a robust military. I don't understand why we're even sending more money. Oh, because we have an alliance with them. So of course we're going to go support. And then what's next? If it gets out of hand, this is the first time ever in history where I'm legitimately scared, because I know what the ramifications of all of this can be. We know that Iran supports Hamas. Supposedly, the conspiracy theory and the rumor is that there was $6 billion that was released by the Biden administration to Iran to swap out some prisoners that they had and that we had from them. The minute that money was unfrozen, they supposedly took the money, gave it to Hamas to attack Israel. So what the conspiracy theory is, Iran is going to be using Hamas as a proxy war to destroy Israel, and we're going to use Israel as a proxy war to fight against Hamas. But ultimately, what do you think is going to happen? More bloodshed. Just think about that. More bloodshed. It's easy for us to sit here behind our computer, typing on the computer, talking to your friends on the phone, being upset on YouTube. But most of you have never fucking have any clue what's going on out there. And I hate how the media is portraying this as one way or another, because it's not. It's ugly. It's complicated. But what we all can agree is that murdering innocent people by far is the worst, but it will happen. And that's all I got to say.
All right. Thanks, Marc, for shedding light. I guess that's all we have for today.
Yep.
The only thing I'll add to it is, there's a big hustle mentality everywhere we go and everywhere we talk about. Like, when stuff like this happens, you got to really think about how grateful you are on everything we have here. Like, you talked about how, like, the poorest of people in America or Canada, they are like probably the richest people in some of these countries we go. So just being grateful, and then just being mindful of everything that we have and we blessed, which, you may or may not have any part to do with it. So just either way, just be blessed. And then, yeah. All right. That's it from us. I guess we'll see you next Thursday.
All right. Take care, everyone.
That's 100.